Okay, I'm about to rehouse one of my Phormictopus atrichomatus juveniles. This guy is not only getting a little bit big for his enclosure, but while doing maintenance the other day, I noticed that there was some yellow mold forming on the bottom. Unfortunately, I think what happened is I kind of moistened the substrate, it trickled down, and there must have been a bolus or two down there, so now it's a little bit moldy. So normally I don't freak out about mold. I try to scoop it out if I find any. I'm going to keep a lot of species that require a bit of moist substrate, so it can happen if you don't catch a bolus or something. However, this stuff is pretty chunky, pretty yellow, and he's kind of due for a change of scenery anyway. What I'm using is a Sterilite shoebox. I've used a soldering iron to burn the holes in the side. I've got a piece of cork bark, glued a little piece of plastic vine to it. This is long-grain sphagnum moss around the back that'll hold a little bit of moisture. And a Jello shot cup. I bought about 125 of these. I'm using them now for water dishes. These guys usually soil up their water dishes either by pooping in them, throwing dirt in them, or throwing boluses or molds in them, so it's just a lot easier to pluck it out. I got this from Poke, I believe Poke 54 Rick on Arachnoboards, so thanks for that. People who've been asking about what I use for substrate, I experiment with it all the time. This is my current mix. I've got a big bag of peat moss. I've got topsoil earth grow. The other one I've got over here, which I couldn't find the other day, is just garden brand topsoil. I like both of these. They hold moisture well. They've got a nice consistency, and I haven't really had to clean any chunks out of them. This is a long grain sphagnum moss, and I do like throwing some vermiculite in because it helps to hold in moisture. And big box of cork bark from what the heck is the place? Any Herb, and that's it. So I'm going to pass this over. I've got Sydney with me today to help record this because I'm going to try to get this one in here without incident. And I'll go over some of the husbandry notes I have for it. I keep a lot of Phormictopus species. I just got my 6th in yesterday, and I keep them all very similarly. So I'm going to pass this over and try to talk while I'm doing this. All right, so you want to come in? This little guy's probably going to come shooting out of here.
That's why we have
Well, I'd rather have him here than have to dig him out, so. If you want to put this, can you see it already? You want to put the light on, just tap on the light. Now, and of course, he's going to go right in his little hole, so we're going to end up having to dig him out. So while I'm doing this, I keep these guys, I usually start them as slings. I definitely keep them damp. Just about all slings will appreciate some damp substrate. You don't want them to dehydrate. When I originally got into Phormictopus canceretus, a lot of the care sheets said that they had to be kept really moist. It was kind of like the same way you'd keep a sturmy or a panthobeteus. What I found is as they get older, they don't require the moisture as much. I will keep the enclosure somewhat moist. I'll moist down a corner, or I'll overfill a water bowl and kind of make it rain using the watering tool to keep some of it moist, but then I let it dry out in between. So I've never seen a big issue. They usually stay in the dry side of it, so they don't seem to gravitate toward the wet. Just make sure I'm not catching this guy. Of course, everything down the bottom is nice and packed in. These guys grow very, very quickly if kept warm. They eat like machines, have one of the best feeding instincts of any of my tarantulas. These are the ones I absolutely, any of the Phormictopus genus, I absolutely love feeding them only because it's so much fun to watch. They really go at it. The growth rate, not only do they molt a lot, but the growth rate in between molts, I'm in my garage, here comes the mailman. The growth rate in between molts is impressive. So these guys really pick up some size in between molts, which I also love because there's nothing like a big fast-growing spider. Attitude-wise, they can have a bit of an attitude. I've actually been very, very fortunate not to have many threat poses thrown up at me. I'm pretty cautious around them, but they can have quite an attitude, and they're also quite quick for a kind of a larger T. All right, this guy's going to come. There we go.
He's coming out.
I'm going to try to get this over him, which of course he's not going to like and not going to let me do. Oh, please, please, please. Ah, there we go. No. And he's back in. No, I had it and lost it. You can see some of the chunky mold here. Right there. You want to get a close-up of that, Sid? Mold right in here. Do you got the light on? Let me tap the light. There it is, right in there. So we're going to get this right out of here right now. Which way is he facing? No, he's in the corner. Let me take this and toss it right outside. I'm just going to try to get them out. And of course, the problem with tarantulas, you realize when you're rehousing them, is they always want to go up. Try to coax them out.
They don't want to get crushed by the dirt, probably.
No, you won't get crushed. All right. Now somebody's got Alice in Chains playing in the background. That's actually pretty cool. All right, here he comes.
He's coming out.
This guy's actually being very cooperative.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you ready to back up? Because I'm going to put him right into the new enclosure. There we go. And get a shot of him. I'm going to get the cap ready because if he bolts, he's coming right toward me, but I don't think he is. All right, so there he is. That's one of my juvenile atrichomatuses. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Who knows? Some of these names, everybody seems to pronounce them differently, but if you look it up, I will put the spelling on the video so everybody knows what I'm talking about in case I'm pronouncing it horribly wrong. I do have 2 more of these that will also be rehoused. I tend to do them all at the same time just to keep things uniform. So his, I'm guessing this one's probably a male. He's one of the bigger of the group. There are 2 smaller ones I'm hoping maybe are female, so we'll get those next. But these guys, I end up feeding them 3 or 4 large crickets at least once a week, sometimes more. They're eating machines. They grow fast. They do well in a variety of conditions. I mean, my temperatures in the winter drop down to about 70, 72 or so. I do have a space heater in, so I allow the space heater kick on to the day during the daytime, so they get higher temperatures during the daytime. So daytime temperatures in the winter get around 74 to 75. In the summer, it's mid to high 70s, low 80s, and they do great. They do great with it dry. They do great with it wet. Just a very, very hardy species. Very curious to see what these guys grow up to look like, because unlike some of the other species like Canceritas or Canceritas, and the species purple, it's tough trying to find images of what they actually look like when they grow up. So I will be posting more as they go on. But again, Phormictopus atrichomatus, very, very cool spider. Hoping to get more pics of these when they grow up. And I'll definitely throw up some rehousing videos of the other ones. All right.